Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium here in beautiful Georgetown, Kentucky. We have been, every sporting event in this area has been dodging raindrops, lightning bolts, distant sound of thunder for about 3 days and nights here. But finally, the last dose of it cleared out about an hour ago. And we have, once again, a beautiful night for football. Kind of a fall break atmosphere, I would say, here tonight in the aftermath of especially a huge crowd and a big game last Friday night. But that's no reflection on what we're going to see in terms of the matchup tonight, as Great Crossing 5-1 plays a pivotal district game for district seeding anyway against Montgomery County that comes in 4-2 overall, 1-1 in the district. Winner of this game will have the inside track to the 3 seed, and that's important because you avoid most likely Frederick Douglass in the first round of the district playoffs. I'm Cal Oakes along with Scotty Sutton. And Scotty, what are you looking for? It's a bounce back situation for Great Crossing as they both took their first loss and absorbed quite a physical toll last week.
Well, and that's exactly what I'm going to look for is, whether or not they can come back after such an emotional loss. And just as you mentioned, it's fall break. There's a sparse crowd here. The band's not here. They haven't been in school all week. How are they going to respond to that, to such a hyped up game and an emotional game last week? But they've got to come out and play because Montgomery County has 2 terrific running backs in Diallo and Jones. Hatton, the quarterback, is, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks. So they're playing well, and this is an important game, as you said, so they better be ready to play.
Diallo is averaging more than 100 yards per game through the first 6 games for the Indians. Diallo and Jones together just shy of 1,100 yards and 17 touchdowns. Alex Hatton, the quarterback that you mentioned, 1,017 yards, 8 TDs against only 2 interceptions. He's completing close to 60% of his passes. We mentioned the physical toll. I walked up to the gate tonight, and I saw Chase Little and Brandon Smith in street clothes at the ticket gate. I knew that wasn't a good sign. The better news is that Orion Fisher is in uniform, looks to play. Pilot Lacasco as well. So they'll be missing a couple of bodies, but it should be pretty close to a full complement for the Warhawks. And we saw their depth last week. Even after they had some guys go down with injuries, they made it tough on the Cardinals moving the football.
They did. They absolutely did. And that's huge. That just goes to show the growth and maturation of this program. And now I see that continuing it for years to come.
They did start 5-0, a school record win streak to start a season, or at any point in the season for that matter, for this third-year program. 14-6 was the final score last week. So if you look at this defense, they've surrendered 5 total touchdowns in 6 games. There was also a special teams TD in there, but this is still, I believe, the second leading defense in terms of scoring defense in 5A behind Douglass. Douglass wasn't represented in the KHS AA stats this week. I don't know, they were missing a couple of games, reporting a couple of games or something, but Great Crossing showed up number 1 in that, allowing only about 8 points a game. They will kick off, so we will see the Warhawk defense first. Jesse Fair will tee it up. In Montgomery County, the Indians coming in. They were the first victim last year in the 3-game win streak for the Warhawks. It was Ricky Bowling's first win as head coach, 43-8 over in Mount Sterling, a game that went to a running clock early in the second half. 2 years ago, Montgomery came in here and won 20-7. A defensive struggle. That might be more the type of game we see tonight, perhaps with the score flip-flop, but we'll see. The ball is in the air, and we are underway. It's misjudged. Moko has to go back and get it and fall on it at the 10. It's still on the turf. Who's got it? They're signaling Indians inside the 10. It'll be marked at the 9.
And that's a tough ball right there by Donovan, trying to come up. Really, it should have been taken by the up man. But he tried to come up the field, skips on this wet turf. He did a remarkable job of falling on it.
It just short hopped him, and he had to go back and get it. Obviously a live ball, and it went from about the 25 to back inside the 10. They will mark it at the 8. So the Indians in the shadow of their own goalpost to start this one out. They are 4-2 on the season. It's been a turnaround year for them as well. They went 0-6 in the COVID-shortened campaign of 2020.
Can you turn him up a little bit?
The Indians under center is Hatton. He pitches, and it's read well by Frazier, but he slips away. Coming back this way, a lot of running for minimal gain as Frazier finally comes back to make the tackle on Jones.
That's super penetration right there by Great Crossings. And I thought he was going to get away for a second, but he ended up cutting it back. But they did a nice job of swarming. So that was excellent.
Be 2nd and 9. Jones had to run about 25 yards to gain 1. Adrian Jones, a senior for the Montgomery County Indians.
Interesting they had him starting because Diallo has 98 attempts and Jones only 54. So we'll see if he's injured or if that's just giving the senior the start.
Got the feeling Jones is probably the home run hitter based on those stats. Hatton will throw, put it right on his hands, but dropped by number 2, Harrison Haddocks.
And you said it, he put it right in the, right in his hands. That's a beautiful play action.
A lot of room over there.
Yeah, it would have been definitely a first down. And that's tough. When you're going to throw, inside your own 10-yard line, you've got a lot of confidence in your quarterback, and he showed why right there. It's a shame they didn't get a first down.
3rd and 9 for Moco at its own 9-yard line as Great Crossing looking to pin back its ears and get a quick stop early. They were helped by the special teams play. Crowd filled in a little bit here before game time. Making some noise now. Drop back to throw. Another nice throw, but it is again off the fingertips. Pretty good coverage by Caleb Perry. Or is it Mason Wiley and Pilot LaCasco?
Yeah, I was a little worried that they were going to get Wiley there with the arm on the shoulder before the ball got there, but letting them play, and I like that. You got to let the defensive backs play a little bit. But that was another ball that was right on the money.
Right on target, but 3 and out for the Indians. And they will punt from their own end zone. Hatton, the quarterback, so you got to beware of that if he's the punter all night. They're certainly not going to fake it from there. It's a wobbly kick, angling toward the Great Crossing sideline, and it will be out. It's going to be great field position for the Warhawks at the 37.
And if you're Great Crossings, that's just what the doctor ordered. You get a 3 and out, you get a short punt, and now your offense is going to take over at the 37-yard line, short field. Hopefully you can run this thing in and get up 7-0.
Crossing has taken full advantage of those short fields this year. And its offense has just progressively gotten better and better and better. Last week was a tough week against that Scott County defense, but we've seen Gabe Nichols put it on the money, and he's got some guys that can go up and get it. Here he will hand off to Caden Allen. Allen spins across the 35 for a gain of 3. Caden Allen, a two-way standout for the Warhawks. He got a little banged up last week, but it's good to see him back in there. The running game certainly needs it as they've been hard hit by injuries this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And if they can run the ball, it's just going to open things up for Nichols even more. We've seen him play at a high level, but you've got, just like we saw in that second half, he struggled last week because they weren't being able to run the ball.
Oh, flip to Perry coming this way, past the 30 and out of bounds, close to the first down marker. Almost kind of a wing T formation there. Looked like Scott County offense.
Perry just, again, shows what kind of athlete he is. And I tell you, if he wasn't so big right there and so strong, if he had fallen down when they hit him out of bounds, or he'd have got another 15 yards. But the kid just kind of bounced off of him, so they didn't throw the flag.
Just a little shovel to Caleb Perry and let him do the work. He picks up the first down right at the stick at the 27. Nichols in the shotgun. Allen the lone back. He will take the inside handoff across the 25, up close to the 20. He'll gain about 6 before he's stopped at the 21.
That's an outstanding job by that O-line, firing off on the ball. That's what we saw early in the year. It's good to see.
Getting back to what they have done well in that 5-game win streak. They have certainly used the run well to set up the pass in recent weeks going into that Scott County game. Turnovers really foiled them, and it was turnovers in Scott County territory. So this is key here in Moco's end of the field to get it done. Threatening the blitz, and now they cross over into the neutral zone, and unless they call it a jump, yeah, it's going to be on Montgomery County, so march it off 5 yards closer to the end zone. That should be a first down. They'll move it to the 16. Want to congratulate the Great Crossing Lady Warhawks soccer team on their first ever district championship today. 2-1 in penalty kicks over Western Hills. They will host a game in the region on Monday, TBA. There's a good run to the corner by Allen. He gets to the 5 before he's shoved out of bounds. It'll be first and goal, Great Crossing.
And you haven't seen Nichols throw the ball once, and I don't think right here I would. I mean, if you're blowing them off the ball like they are right now, it's just what you keep doing.
I think they've got a good feeling about their ability to move the ball in this Montgomery County run defense. Other teams have done it. They've been in a lot of high-scoring games, have the Indians. Even Grant County hung quite a few points on them. It was a shootout-type final. First and goal from the 4. Allen will take it again, hanging on for dear life. A couple of Indian tacklers stop him shy of the end zone. Connor Fraley was the one hanging off his back. They'll mark it at the 2 or inside the 3.
And that just goes to show how strong Allen is, because they had super penetration actually get him behind the line of scrimmage. But he's able to pick up a couple yards.
He does not miss leg day, does Caden Allen.
Oh, sorry, Doug.
He will take it again, and he will score. Caden Allen in the end zone, and the Warhawks with an impressive, short but authoritative drive. And as you said, all runs culminating with the Caden Allen touchdown.
Just sticking with what works. And as long as that's going to work, you're going to stick with it.
Caden Allen did most of the dirty work on that drive. Caleb Perry gave him some help there on that little shuffle pass, handoff, whatever you want to call it. And with 8:30 to play in the first quarter, Jesse Fair will attempt the PAT. It is good. 7-0 Warhawks.
Well done right there. Well, you can't draw it up any better if you're Great Crossing. We talked about the 3 and out. We talked about the short punt. And then they took care of business right there with the 37-yard drive, all on the ground. That's got to make you feel good, knowing that, just like we talked about, what kind of emotion would you come out with? Not a huge crowd compared to last week, and at least in the first, 7 minutes of the game, they've passed the test so far. But I tell you had talked about, Cal, about how Montgomery County has put up a lot of points, and I can see why, seeing Hatton throw the football. So they can't let down right here.
No.
You got to continue to bring the pressure.
He's got some guys, once they can get their hands on it, maybe the ball a little bit damp. The turf is probably still a little wet from whatever rain we had earlier, but they will get it straightened out, I'm sure. But it's a chore moving the ball through the air against this Great Crossing defense when you've got Wiley and Perry, etc. back there. Talked about soccer earlier. The Great Crossing boys dropped a 5-0 verdict to the Frankfort Panthers, first ever loss in the 41st district, and it comes in the championship game, so they will still be in regions next week, but a disappointing night in terms of getting the title brought back home. Montgomery County will get the handle on this kickoff and return it back just shy of the 30. They will go to work at their own 28, trailing 7-0.
We saw Montgomery County inside their own 10 firing the ball from Hatton, so I don't expect to see anything else when they're on the 28.
Now, this team, when they came in here 2 years ago, was very much wing tee oriented, but that seemed to change last year. It was kind of a building year, obviously, with the 0-6 record and a ton of underclassmen dominating the roster. But they have mixed it up, certainly. It's about a 50-50 split in terms of their total yardage, rushing and passing. This will be a handoff. It's going nowhere. There's Great Crossing all over it.
And Great Crossing, even last week, they just played the run about as well as you can play.
Will Frazier and Trey Combs and Peyton Harris in on that stuff. Trey Combs got himself a preferred walk-on offer from EKU about a week ago, so he becomes the third member of this defense, joining Fisher and Perry to get D1 looking at him.
Yeah, that's terrific news. Congratulations to the young man.
He's worked hard. He's a run stuffer. He'll certainly get his chance at the next level. There's a throw again right on the money, but well read. And the stop made quickly by Drake Bird. But they gain 7. It'll be 3rd and short. Devin Tall on the reception. He has been the favorite receiver this year.
And that was an excellent play by Bird because that was an out and up. Bird leaves his man to come make the tackle. If he doesn't do that, that again is going to be an easy first down for the Indians.
That's Tall's 22nd catch of the year for the Indians. He averages about 20 yards per grab. It's 3rd and 2. Hatton, low snap, gets it, fires it, turn and go, and this could be trouble. The 40, the 30, the 20. He's going to go unless they can get him around the ankle. That's a touchdown, 64 yards. Tanner Donathan, a sophomore. He just made the first man miss, and he saw nothing but real estate.
Yeah, just a dig, just past the sticks, and Hatton puts it on him, and when they come up to make the stop, he was able to spin away from it, and then it was just down the sidelines.
It was just a matter as if one of those speedsters from Great Crossing could get him by the shoelace, and it didn't happen. They will attempt the PAT.
Seem to be missing some linemen.
Brian Martinez, a senior, doing the kicking duties.
They're going to get a delay of game here. And I tell you, Cal, as a coach, that has to drive you out of your mind. You just score a touchdown.
Yeah, you've got momentum on your side.
Momentum going, and you got to run somebody in for the PAT because obviously somebody's not doing their job. I mean, we're in the first quarter. I don't think somebody has already gotten injured. It should be, hey, I'm on the PAT. I know that. I'm running out as soon as we score.
Martinez pushed back 5 yards to make this kick. It is up, and it is no good. Hit the upright.
And you hate to say it, but that's where that 5 yards.
That's exactly 100% where it comes from.
He just pushed it, but it had been 5 yards closer. It sneaks in, and then it doesn't, which is going to make Montgomery County's coaching staff even more upset.
So it's 7-6 Warhawks with 6:40 to play. They're in the first quarter. What you said about Hatton putting that ball on the money, eventually his receivers would hang on, and look what happened. It was that was quick to be proven true.
And I tell you, you never want to abandon the run game, but in a couple times that they have run it, they've got nothing. And then in the 4 times that he's thrown it, he's 2 for 4, but 2 of them should have been caught. So I'm not so sure we'll see too many more runs from here on out.
Now they have been throw, and Great Crossing has been run. Tonight's game presented by Greens Toyota of Lexington. Great people, great cars, think Greens. They will sponsor tonight's player of the game. Also want to thank all our other sponsors. We'll mention them throughout the evening. Bluegrass Orthopedics, Georgetown News Graphic, of course. Hopefully you're listening at newsgraphic.com. That is a short kick. Tricky. Fielded on the fly. It's on the ground as Montgomery County comes crashing in, and I think they've got it. They do. And after the big 64-yard touchdown pass, they get another big play on special teams, do the Indians. As Montgomery County recovers not a traditional onside kick, but just a little floater that functioned as one.
Well, and I was just getting ready to say, you can see Coach Russell Floyd right now. He's telling his young man, look, right in that situation, call a fair catch. Even though it only went 10 yards, it was up high enough to where he could have just called a fair catch. You get the ball in the 45, whatever. But instead, he takes that lick and doesn't hang on to it.
So for all intents and purposes, an onside kick. Montgomery County recovers, and they're at the Great Crossing 46. They'll throw again. That one is right into double coverage. Allen had a shot, and Wiley had a shot.
And that's great adjustment by the Great Crossing staff right there. They dropped 8 that time, and yet still we're getting pressure on Hatton, and he throws in. Could have very easily been an interception, but good adjustment right there by the Warhawks.
So that is, I believe, the 6th offensive play. We have seen 5 passes so far from Montgomery County. So that's where they think their best matchup is, and obviously Great Crossing has felt that it's on the ground so far. And then, of course, Montgomery County runs up the middle and gains about 5 before the tackle is made. Adrian Jones on the carry. It'll be 3rd and 5.
And we continue to see Jones. At this point, I think it's got to make you wonder if Diallo is not out.
Jacob Diallo, a sophomore. He wears number 14. He's in the game. I see him in the huddle.
Okay.
So just interesting. Maybe a youngster against this experienced defense. He's kind of lining up at a wingback right now.
Because he leads the team with 9 rushing touchdowns. So
they will hand it again to Jones, and he's smothered by Caden Allen, a tackle for loss, and that'll make it 4th and fairly long at the 43. Call it 4th and 7.
And Cal, that play call smelled that they knew they were going to go for it on 4th down.
But I don't think they anticipated losing 3. I figured they thought they'd get
did.
stopped for no gain, and that would be the worst case scenario.
You're absolutely right.
Now you have to throw.
And I'm a little surprised that he, may not pooch it down inside the 5. But, again, it goes to show what kind of confidence he has in his quarterback.
Alex Hatton, he's now thrown for about 1,100 yards on the season after that touchdown pass. He's got pressure coming in his face, and Tall just drops it right at the stick. It's a turnover on downs at the 43.
And that's got to be so frustrating for Hatton. He sticks another one right there in the belly, and that was going to be a 1st down. And, you just drop it. And we talked about maybe the ball's a little wet, but, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You got to make that catch.
But now Nichols says, okay, we're right back to where we should have been had we fielded that kickoff with just a few more minutes running off the clock. Let's see what we can do.
At the 44, Warhawks go back to work.
Ooh, jumped.
And we've got flags everywhere, and that's going to be marked off against Great Crossing. Be 1st and 15.
Got a little anxious that time.
False start on the offense. It's going to back him up 5 yards. We'll make it a 1st and 15 for the Warhawks.
Warhawks lead 7-6, 5:08 to play first quarter. They have the ball at their own 39, 1st down and 15.
39-yard line.
Hand off to Allen.
Number 22, Zach Morris.
Nope, Zach Morris in the game for the first time. He will pick up 1. Thinking we never saw Tyrus Cobbins after the first half last week, so you might have to add him to the injury list. Morris appeared in that game quite a bit more than he had ever in varsity competition since the opener against Western Hills, and now he's back in there early tonight. So it's been a physical battle here lately, but Nichols play action over the middle to Wiley across midfield. Good pickup will set up 3rd and short.
And Nichols picks up right just where he left off. He's so smooth with that play action pass right there. And, you don't have to get it all in one play. You know it was 2nd and long, but let's get 8 or 9, and now we're, in 3rd and manageable.
Number 28, Potts.
Nichols in the gun. Morris, the setback. Nichols throws this side. Kelly drop. You don't say that very often. We've said he sometimes makes the tough ones look easy, and sometimes the easy ones like that pop out. And now what do? It looks like a punt. You can pin Montgomery County again as you did on the opening drive. Caleb Perry will drop back in punt formation at least. Of course, we saw a fake last week. That was a little different situation, but they were trailing in the 4th quarter and needed a spark, and they got it.
Back deep to receive for the Indians, number 8, Alex Ison.
Alex Ison back to return the punt, standing near his own 10-yard line. Perry will get it away. It's a good kick, angled toward the sideline. They will take a Great Crossing bounce, too much of a bounce into the end zone. Touchback with 3:48 remaining first quarter. 7-6, Warhawks on top of the Indians. This game also brought to you by Galvin's on Main. Stop in at Galvin's after the game or anytime. Over 100 items on the menu. All good stuff. DMK CPA, Denise M. Keene for all your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties, real estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. 3 Georgetown locations to serve you. Alex Hatton back out there with the Montgomery County offense for the 4th time already. He will hand it off, and that won't get far before Mr. Trey Combs sniffs it out, gain of a yard. Jones again on the carry.
You notice Hatton after every play just walking all the way over to the coach and getting the play. It's at the end of the night, it seemed like it would get a little exhausting.
He's getting in his steps. Especially when you're coming from the far hash mark, which it seems like they've been there most of the night. 2nd and 9. Hatton will be under center for this one. Tall in motion, along with Diallo, who we still haven't seen carry the ball. Jones is going to be stuffed. Caleb Perry just all over that one. That's a minus. We'll call it 6, back to the 15. 3rd and 15 from there.
And, you know, if you're Montgomery County staff, they're thinking, we just put the tight end and the H-back in motion to get over there and block.
And it did no good.
Did nothing. Perry blows
You're
the play up.
You're gonna need more than that to handle Caleb Perry, future Tennessee Volunteer.
And here's where they're going to pin their ears back and come after Hatton.
Hatton, pressure, gets it away, well overthrown. He had tall down there. He had to be taller than that to make the catch, and it will be 4th and 15 and another punt from deep in Montgomery County territory.
But that's really the first time that Hatton hadn't been able to set his feet and throw because he was getting major pressure, had to get rid of it. You can see the talent the young man has, but if you're in a 3rd and long and they know it's coming, then those guys are just going to be coming at you. They've showed it all year what a great defense they have, and it's going to be tough.
See if Great Crossing comes after the punt here. Now we're going to have a timeout, as Montgomery County wants to talk about it and get their max protect in there probably. 2:14 to play in the first quarter. Great Crossing 7, Montgomery County 6.
Well, they didn't have enough, Cal.
Well, they had 10 men.
They had 10 guys.
Yeah, well, there you go. That'll kill you. They've had a couple of, at least one costly penalty and a couple of costly tackles for loss that have sabotaged them so far tonight. The one big play has kept them in it. As well as the special teams recovery. It's not been a perfect first quarter for the Warhawks, but they do have the lead, 7-6, by virtue of the missed PAT. Hatton to punt from his own 3. Snap is good. Kick is away. Good kick. He'll take Great Crossing back to the 41. Bird makes a man miss across midfield. Still on his feet. Gets to the 40 and across the 40. Pushing the pile forward to the 33. Drake Bird with a beautiful return of 25 yards to put the Warhawks back in Indian territory.
Such a Drake Bird fan. He comes up, he catches that punt. We saw him, I think we've seen him misplay one punt, and he ain't done it since then. But that's the difference. If you let that ball bounce, you're going to probably start your series on about your own 37-yard line, and instead you're starting it on, Montgomery County's 34-yard line, all just because he comes up, makes the play, and gets what he can get.
Ball marked at the 34. Nichols to throw. Pocket collapses. He scrambles away, gets past the line of scrimmage, will keep it across the 30, taken down at the 28. Good work by Nichols there to avoid the sack and get something out of it.
It was. I thought he was going to break left and step up, but he's able to
to
get quite a few yards. And that's his, hey, you come in at 2nd and 4, the way they've been running the football, you'll take it every time.
They'll mark it back at the 29, so we'll call it 2nd and 5. Great Crossing offense moving again, 125 and rolling here in the first quarter. They lead 7-6. Nichols in the shotgun. It is Cobbins, so they're just mixing it up with the 3 running backs tonight as Cobbins gets his first carry. A couple of yards to the 27. They'll mark it at the 28. They're not getting good spots here in the first quarter, or the Warhawks. It'll be 3rd and 4.
You got to figure this is 4-down territory, so everything's open in the playbook right here.
Yeah, they've certainly done good things on those kind of 50-50 situations through the air, especially.
They got one-on-one coverage out.
And they've got Kelly. I think he knows it. Instead, they go inside handoff to Cobbins. He won't get the first down. He'll be stopped a couple of yards short. Now it's 4th and 2 at the 26. That may have been the final play of the first quarter.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they don't bring everybody over.
I'll give them time to contemplate things.
But they're sending him out there, so we'll see. The one thing you don't want to do is rush it on 4th down. And this could be let's try to get them to jump off sides, and then if they don't, we'll just let the clock run out.
They will snap it, and they will hand it off to Allen. Good choice as he pushes the pile for the first down to the 22. So Caden Allen gets them a fresh set of downs as they take the walk to the other end of the field. Warhawks in the red zone as they start the second quarter with a 7-6 lead over the Montgomery County Indians.
That was a great push right that time by the right side.
And you got to figure Allen's got the legs that'll turn out that 4th and 2 more often than not. We've seen it when they get close to the end zone, and we've seen it in short yardage situations farther down the field as well.
Yeah, you have to rely on the big boys. You get into playoff football when it's bad weather and cold and rainy, and we've had some rain tonight, but it's not cold. But you get into that late October, early November games, you've got to be able to run the football. You just have to.
Yeah, you can't count on being able to throw it all over the yard, and we're seeing that from Montgomery County tonight.
That's right.
It's what they would like to do, but you can't always keep the fingers on the ball when it's the temperature's dropping and the weather's not cooperating. Sometimes you get some rain or some snowflakes even later on.
I know when we do those games, I'm bringing my heater.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. We haven't needed any such thing. I haven't needed the parka yet, but we've got time. We've got 3 more weeks, at least 2 more weeks of home games, regular season. Of course, next week, this same Montgomery County team will be here again to face Scott County. The week after that, both teams will be on the road as Great Crossing will go to Grant County and Scott County will go to Ballard. And then the final week of the regular season, it's going to be a good one, a good 5A matchup. Pretty even one, I think, as Great Crossing hosts Collins as they come in from Shelbyville, while Scott County will go to Lexington Catholic for the first time in more than a decade. Those 2 longtime rivals in just about every sport you can imagine will get it on the gridiron. So some big ones coming up down the stretch for our county teams. Nichols fakes to Allen, throws deep left. Coming back forward is Coulter, making the man miss at the 5. Touchdown, Jacob Coulter, 22 yards from Gabe Nichols' first play of the second quarter.
And that's just a matter of the receiver has eyes on the ball, the defensive back does not, because he knew he was beat. He's trying to get to the receiver. It was a little underthrown, so he just stops, makes the play, then he's able to get in the end zone.
We saw Coulter make that catch a couple of times this year, that little comebacker.
Yep. Almost like a back shoulder, really. It's so difficult to defend.
Fair with the kick. It is fair and right down the middle. 14-6 Warhawks.
With 11 minutes and 53 seconds in the second quarter. Your scores, Great Crossing 14.
Now, Cal, we were talking about the schedule just a minute ago. Is it next week that Great Crossings visits Douglas?
Yes, that's right. I don't think I mentioned we've got the game with Montgomery County coming in here, but that is in fact the week that Great Crossing goes to Douglas. So, in theory, if Great Crossing wins tonight and they go and shock the world next week, we could have a three-way tie at the top of the district. So there are a lot of things in play. I think most of us think if Great Crossing wins this game, there's a good chance we're going to see a Battle of the Birds rematch in the first round of the playoffs. But there are still some things in play that could change that.
And I tell you, we had an incredible crowd here last week. If they're playing in the playoffs,
it's going to be a madhouse.
Crazy.
Because that becomes like the Super Bowl. I mean, hey, anything can happen. This is high school sports, but I think we're starting to see that Douglas has got a pretty good team in 5A this year. So you can't put all your eggs in that basket, but certainly that's a game that both teams are going to be extremely fired up to play. And then the bonus is you get to go to Douglas and shoot your shot the week after that. So.
Kicking out for the Warhawks, number 13, Jesse Fair.
Fair will kick off. It's a 14-6 lead for the Warhawks as Fair has made both the PATs. Montgomery County missed theirs, so that's a little added advantage going forward in this one. Kickoff taken at the 10. Good head of steam to the 25, but the Warhawks converge there. Zach Morris, Mason Wiley, and others there to make the stop.
And if you're Montgomery County, here's where you got to start catching the football. Because if you go 3 and out here, then you're putting yourself in danger because the way that Great Crossing's been able to run the football, if they go up 21-6, and then they know you got to throw the football every play, then Fisher and Perry and those guys are just going to start coming around the edge. And
feels like it could get ugly at that point. Handoff straight ahead, not going to get much there. Jones again on the carry. He's getting the lion's share of the work tonight, but he ran into Will Frazier. Trey Combs.
And it seems like Montgomery County, I don't have the stats here in front of me, but it seems like they've just run it on first down every time. I'd love to see them play action on that first down because then you're not sure if they're running or they're throwing and give Hatton a chance.
I mean, if it's going to end up being 2nd and 10 anyway, you might as well throw on first down. And here is the throw on 2nd and 10, crossing pattern to Tall. He's taken down a nice tackle in the open field by Caleb Perry once again. They'll pick up 4 to the 30. It'll be 3rd and 6.
That'd be interesting to see if they draw up the pressure here or if they drop. 3rd and 6, they've been running that down and out towards the sidelines, and it's been working for them. But we'll see what Great Crossings does here.
You mentioned Fisher. I don't think we've seen much, if any, of him in the game. He's on the sideline right now with his helmet off. If they don't need him, they're certainly not going to take any chances. They run it, do the Indians. That's not going to get it done. And it will be 4th and 5 as the heart of that Great Crossing defense was all over it.
And that play call shocks me.
Yeah, it's interesting. Lawrence Stroh in on the tackle along with Trey Combs. I guess I don't understand that when you've been throwing the ball with accuracy.
But yeah, at some point you got to feel like your receivers are going to catch it. I mean, they just ran a pass play for a nice 5-yard gain. You felt like they were going to come right back to it.
In any event, it is a 3 and out again for the Warhawk defense. They'll get the ball back with more than 9 minutes to play here in the second quarter. We've got a whistles and we have a flag or a timeout.
I think it's a delay of game.
It's going to be another Another 5 yards marked off against Montgomery County.
Special teams have not been kind to the Indians tonight.
No, they had the one fortuitous bounce on the muff on the onside kick. Other than that, they have struggled, and they've had to punt from deep in their own end most of the time. That's a high snap. Coming after it, he gets it away, and it takes a good bounce. Bird's just going to let it roll. So they come out of it pretty well, do the Indians. It'll roll all the way to the 24 of Great Crossings with 9:09 to play in the first half. Great Crossing will go back to work on offense, leading 14-6. We want to thank some more of our sponsors, Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their number one priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, tonight's title sponsor. Great people, great cars. Think Greens. Oster Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. And Scott County Veterinary Clinic. They love and treat your pets like their own. Come join the SC Veterinary Clinic family. First down, Nichols in the shotgun. He'll look to throw out to, is it Harris or Coulter? It's Harris, and he will take it to the 32. Gain of about 8, so 2nd and 2. That puts your running game in a good situation if you want to keep churning it out.
I love that play call right there. Good pounding, play action, get you a nice safe throw right there. A little high, but a terrific catch by Harris.
Peyton Harris is a good hands receiver. They've got that mix of Harris, Coulter, and Perry all in double-digit receptions on the season. They'll go over the middle to Wiley. He's been an increasing factor in recent weeks. That same play, that little quick slant, has made some big gains for him. It's another first down here to the 45.
And I would look for a double move by one of the receivers here pretty soon because they've all been running the short 5-yard digs. He pump fakes right there. They're going to have a guy wide open down the field.
Nichols surveying the scene. He will throw it again. Coulter coming across this time. He's close to midfield, tackled there. Another decent gain of 4, so that's one of those pass plays that's as good as a run.
But every receiver right there is running that short route, and I just feel like at some point Coach Boland's going to set them up and throw it deep.
And you'll see Perry or Coulter down there. He's put the ball in 3 different sets of hands on this drive. Of course, Kelly is a factor, too. You want to talk about, he's split over there to the right. We've seen him take it to the house in that direction many times. They'll jump, will the Warhawks. That'll push it back 5. So it'll be 2nd and 11. 7:28 play, second quarter. Great Crossing 14, Montgomery County 6 here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. I'm Cal Oaks with Scotty Sutton. Great Crossing 5-1 on the season. This is their second district game. They lost 14-6 to Scott County a week ago. Montgomery County 4-2 has a win over Grant County. The only team that hasn't played Grant County now is Great Crossing, as they've had 2 forfeit losses, have the Braves. Nichols had plenty of time. The pocket collapsed, and now he's going to get taken down. It won't be a sack because he gets back basically to the line of scrimmage. But there is number 34 for the Indians.
And that was that play I was looking for. They actually sent a couple guys deep right there, but you know, when it being second and long, Montgomery County brought some pressure, and just Nichols just didn't have time to pick him up.
Of course, not a dang 34 on the Indians roster, so neither I nor the PA able to give the young man full credit for the tackle for loss. It was about a 1-yard setback for the Warhawks, who faced 3rd and 12. Little middle screen. Good gain by Johnson. He's got the first down just shy of the 40, so a nice pass play again. That short passing game, as you mentioned, just getting it done tonight.
Yeah, that's a great job right there. Just a quick pass, getting what you need. But if you're on the other side, Montgomery County, you got to be thinking, come on, we had it 3rd. We got to be able to make that stop.
Number 8, Alex Hyson. Number 39, Farley.
At the 41 of Montgomery County, they will hand it off straight ahead to Morris. He won't get much.
crashing in from the left side of that defense. And nice job right there by Montgomery County.
So it'll be 2nd and 10.
No gain on the play. Tackles made by number 9, Brody Shaw, number 34.
Ball marked at the 41 of the Indians. Clock ticking at 5:51 to go in the first half. 14-6 Warhawks lead. Nichols takes the snap, looks to the right. Another short pass. This time it's Caleb Perry. Perry only gets to the 40 before he's gang tackled by a quartet of Montgomery County Indians. So it'll be 3rd and long.
Well, and I was just going to say that was a great job by the Indians of swarming to the ball right there. They send the receivers deep. You swing a guy out. You're just hoping he can pick up 5, 7, 8 yards. But those DBs and linebackers came flying up and made a terrific stop.
Third down and 9. They converted 3rd and 12 moments ago. Let's see what the Warhawks can do here. Nichols isn't going to have a lot of time. He's going to get sacked. Once again, the nameless number 34 comes in for the Indians and blows it up. So it'll be a punt after a loss of 5.
Is that Bobby Boucher?
He's coming to win the Bourbon Bowl.
He's playing well. Who I wish we had. I was looking at my roster as well, and I don't see it. So,
Mama said the spread offense is from the devil.
But you're starting to see some energy from that Montgomery County sideline right now.
We certainly are. Caleb Perry back to punt. He will look to pin the Indians. It's a well done there to angle it inside the 20, and a fair catch is made. So with 4:20 to play in the half, Montgomery County will have some time to try to even this up, or close to it at least. But they have struggled. A lot of 3 and outs other than that one big pass play, 64-yard touchdown earlier on the second series of the night.
And here's where I want to see, if you're Montgomery County, I want to see a throw on first down when they don't know what you're going to come with. It's different when you're 3rd and long. Man, it makes it tough. On 1st and 10, I'd like to see the young man throw it right here.
Alex Hatton, the quarterback, he is a junior. He is put up well over 1,000 yards, over 1,100 now on the season. Little counter play.
That's our first look at Diallo.
And Diallo's not going to get anything. He will get, in fact, he'll lose a couple. Took a long time to develop. And Great Crossing was all over it.
And now you're at 2nd and 14. And that has not been kind. Well, 2nd and 14 is not kind to anybody.
No, that's not what you want, especially deep in your own territory. Your options are pretty limited. This Great Crossing defense has been tough on first down all season, and it's put their opponents in passing situations, and it's allowed their pass rush to tee off. Diallo will have some time here over the middle. It's tipped and almost intercepted. Caden Allen was there. Mason Wiley was there. Caleb Perry was there, but he hit the turf. Clock stops with 3:34 to play in the half. 3rd and long once again, this time for Montgomery County.
And that looked to me like a miscommunication with the receiver. I think he thought he was going to turn up instead of he went deep and he went ahead and let that ball fly. That was danger zone.
Yeah, they were multiple blue shirts closer than whoever his intended receiver was. Third and long, Hatton running for his life, throwing it deep, but Tall's down there. He underthrew it just a touch, and Mason Wiley was there to defend. Tall was kind of looking for a flag, but Wiley made a play on the ball, so nothing doing there.
And I tell you, I think he might have gotten the call had he been looking.
Yeah,
he was not aware that the ball was thrown to him, and I love the call to roll out. I think that was planned to roll out right there, and It was a good job by Hatton to pick him up, and it was a little underthrown, but right there when you're getting pressured, you got to make a play, just as we saw down here for Great Crossings. You've got to make a play for your quarterback.
Hatton to punt again, for at least the 4th time, might be the 5th. He gets it away, line drive. Bird will take it on a hop at his 40. He'll cross midfield. Another double-digit return for Bird into Montgomery County territory, and he'll be stopped with 3:14 to play in the half. So great crossing, chance for kind of the double possession here. They'll get the second half kickoff. They've also got some time to play with here to maybe get back in the end zone.
Yeah, you hear coaches talking about that middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. And this is dangerous for the Montgomery County Indians. They got to get a stop, and if you're Great Crossing, you're thinking, let's put the gas pedal down.
Nichols will throw. Coming up the middle, he gets away from that pressure, throws it deep. He's got a man down there. I believe it's Kelly, but Montgomery County played it well, incomplete.
Good defense. But what I loved about Nichols right there was he knew his first job was to get away from the, a lot of times you're looking down. He said, okay, I've got to get away from this pressure, and then I'm going to pick up my receivers. And threw a dart. That was an excellent throw. This guy, the defensive back, made a good coverage.
Yeah, he never left his man and knocked away. So the clock stops at 3:06 to play in the half. 2nd and 10 from the Montgomery County 47. Gabe Nichols, junior quarterback, hands off to Zach Morris. Morris stops short of the 45, so a gain of about a yard. It'll be 3rd and 9.
This will be an interesting play call because before I felt like that they knew it was going to be 4 down territory, but with 2 and just over 2:44 to go, I'm not so sure that if they don't get anything here, they're not going to punt it. I don't know. I don't think you would give Montgomery County a chance to score before the half, knowing that you get the ball in the second half.
You've got the weapon in Caleb Perry in that punt game, and I think that's exactly what you do. Hand off to Morris. He gets good yardage this time. Close to the first down. He might have it. They mark it right at the 37. That's been Morris's best gain of the night by far. We'll see where they put it down.
They're moving sticks.
They are moving it. First down, and that's big because with 2:22 to play, Great Crossing can score or not, run off the majority of the half, the time that's remaining. If they choose. I'm thinking a safe pass here. I think you got to get back to that short passing game and let your athletes make a play in the middle of the field. Inside handoff again to Morris. A lot of room past the 30, down close to the 25. Another first down for Zach Morris, the sophomore. Back-to-back strong carries for the 5'9", 179-pound 10th grader. Ball at the 26, minute 51 and running. The bugs are starting to congregate up here in the tower tonight, aren't they, Scotty?
I'm getting attacked like this defensive line.
Might have to shut the window. I don't know if it's going to help at this point. Moths to the flame. Morris again, nothing doing there as Montgomery County was onto at that time. Number 9 and number 6, Brody Shaw made the first hit, and Darian Owens came in and helped him finish up. 2nd and 11, time down to a minute 10.
And I wonder, I think that if you don't get a first down here, you're probably going to take a timeout unless it's an incomplete pass.
Now you're down under a minute. Nichols, play action. Quick slant, left side. Harris, second, third, fourth effort gets him. Now they're going to call him inbounds. I don't know how you do that. The effort got him to the 21. That's shy of the first down.
So Great Crossing will have to burn that timeout. Still have one, but I'm like you. I thought
he dragged the pile out.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't see his knee touch. I don't think he was low to the ground or anything. But they're down there and we're up here. So 45.3 seconds. They will call a timeout. Scoreboard says they have 2 left.
Well, they
That
had
was-
2 up there before they just took that.
So
I
they'll
don't know if
they'll
they
drop
had
them to
it.
1.
Scott County Middle School 8th grade football players report to the end zone.
They're going to honor the Scott County 8th grade football team at half tonight. They are your Bluegrass Conference champions. They won that last night, so congratulations to the Cardinals. Surprised they haven't rebranded Scott County Middle since they feed both programs yet. But
Yeah.
they are presenting them at the Great Crossing game, which is always interesting juxtaposition.
I may know somebody who
Might have a
would
role in
have
that discussion.
answer, yeah.
We won't pursue it any further. They'll throw it over the middle,
That'll get 'em the
complete,
first
and that will get the first down.
Nichols pass complete to number 9.
That's that Mason Wiley play. It has worked 3 times already tonight, as he has got good hands over the middle. Clock rolling under 40 seconds. You don't have to hurry, but go fast, I guess.
They're going to take a timeout.
Yeah, they're going to burn that one. So they still have 2 timeouts up there. So that would be at least their second one they've used, if not their third.
Well, I think that tells me that they did have 2 left, because I don't think you would have taken a timeout
No.
there if that was your last one.
I don't
So,
recall them
I don't
using
either,
one.
but I knew they
Yeah.
had 2 because I was looking to see what both teams had.
Yeah, now they've taken that one, so it says 1 left. We'll take that at face value at this point with 36.3 seconds. Ball is at the 15. It's first down, so you've got some options here.
You do. But
You're not precluded from the run, but you know it's got to be the right run. It can't be stuffed for no gain, because then you either got to spike the ball or use that timeout.
Yeah, I think you're looking at, maybe a down and out right by the sidelines, or you're looking at a fade maybe to Perry.
Yeah, jump ball kind of
Yeah.
situation. You can
Although-
run that 2 or 3 times.
Looks like he's coming out right now. So
Yeah, he's just kind of walking slowly off field, not hurt or anything. We'll see what Nichols does. They're on the right far hash mark. He will come back and throw this way. I think
you
it
don't
got
want to catch that.
I think it got tipped at the line.
And that's a break. I think he tried to catch that. If he catches
Yeah,
that,
that's
was gonna
not
run.
good. You definitely don't want to catch that. Peyton Harris would have been better off just knocking it down. Incomplete pass, though, so that helps the Warhawks. It stops at 32.9 seconds. 2nd and 10 at the Montgomery County 15. Caden Allen in the backfield now.
Haven't seen him attack that middle of the field on a deep ball. See if they do
Nichols
that
looks
here.
to his left. Now he scrambles. He gets past the line of scrimmage, but he's lassoed down at the 11, and they're going to have to burn the timeout. That will leave him with 3rd and 6, 21.7 seconds remaining. Now you got to throw it to the end zone
Yeah,
twice, I think.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't think they're going to kick a field goal, even though they've been perfect on PATs tonight. It hasn't been their bread and butter, certainly.
You could get a first down inside the 5 and then clock it
Yeah.
because they stop it with, an automatic first down. And that would probably get you, you'd probably be down about the 12-second mark.
Yeah.
By the time you were able to get up to the line and spike the ball. But so I don't think I was thinking like you that you had to throw a touchdown, but I think you could.
Got a
just
little
run it
bit of
quick.
wiggle room.
You do, yeah. And that's what they're talking about right now in the huddle. And, Nichols been around for so long, is a smart guy.
Yeah, that's the thing about being hurt all of last year. He got to kind of become a student.
Yeah, be
and
right
kind of
there by the
watch
coaches,
and kind of watch
absolutely.
things and maybe become a kind of a caddy to the coaches a little bit, knowing that he was probably the heir apparent. Warhawks back on the field. Whistle blows. Nichols throws it deep. He's got Coulter. He's shielded. A little bit of contact. And Montgomery County certainly wasn't playing the ball, but no flag. The clock will stop with 17.1 seconds, and now it's 4th and 4.
Yeah,
4th and 6, rather.
hit the Montgomery County player right in the helmet. I don't think he got to the receiver before or they might have called pass interference.
Yeah, I guess he didn't. As long as there was no contact.
Yeah. From my angle, it didn't look like he did. The ball was underthrown just a hair, and it hit him. So they're going to try a field
They're going to
goal.
try a Jesse Fairfield. He has the leg to do this. He's a former soccer player. It'll be a 29-yarder from the right hash mark. Left-footed kicker. Kick is up. And it is good. So that's a big one. Makes it a two-possession game going into the half. 12.1 seconds.
Nice kick. When you get into playoff football, it's nice to have a
Got it.
field goal kicker.
Good to have that weapon.
Yeah, at the high school level.
Montgomery County 6.
So a 17-6 lead for the Warhawks. 12 seconds. I don't know what Montgomery County will choose to do, whether they'll just kneel on it and cut their losses or try to throw a Hail Mary. And they're not going to get the ball to start the second half. So as we mentioned, they could it's a tough spot for them.
And if you're Russell Floyd's special teams coordinator, you're saying, let's skip this ball down the field.
Don't give up
a
home run.
Yeah.
Back deep to receive for the Indians, number 2, Maddox, number 4, Jones. Kicking off for the Warhawks, number 13, Jesse Fair.
Fair will kick off after his 29-yard field goal. I say they have a kind of a two-kicker alignment in the game. They could go either way. And he will squib it Fair straight ahead, taken on a hop at the 25 and tackled at the 37. They've got 7.9 seconds to do with as they please.
Fair's kick covers 35 yards. Ball returned by number 8, Alex Ison.
And I think from here, you are going to give it a try.
Yeah, you've got a quarterback with the arm, and you've got some rangy receivers. Your quarterback has thrown 9 touchdowns on the season.
I think you're probably going to try to roll him out, get him to the right side.
If nothing else, maybe you get pass interference and get it 15 yards closer and can try it again or something. Or he's just going to get under center and go into victory formation. Nope, they're going to run it. Little pitch to Jones. He's going to run it to the sideline and get out of bounds with 2.1 seconds. So they buy themselves a little room, and now they can wing it from their own 47. So that was a good call by Jamie Egley over there. As long as your guy can get out of bounds, get your quarterback a little closer. 2nd and 1, but the down and distance don't matter at this point. This will be the final play of the half, barring a penalty.
Still just a 2 wide receiver set. I'm a little surprised by that. Yeah.
They're going to run it to the right, so they're not going to try the Hail Mary. He's certainly not going to get out of bounds in time to stop it from hitting all zeros. He runs out at midfield, pushed out by Harris. They had the hands team out there. Coulter was on defense as well. Your halftime score, the Great Crossing Warhawks 17, the Montgomery County Indians 6. As we said, we'll be honoring the Scott County Middle School Cardinals, Bluegrass Conference 8th grade champions at halftime. So good moment for them to get on the field. Future of this rivalry on both sides. And then we'll talk a little bit about the schedule that's coming up here in the rest of the month of October. As we alluded to earlier, some big matchups coming down the pike. And hopefully some halftime stats as well from Mr. Chad Little. So Great Crossing looking to go 6-1 on the season and even their mark at 1-1 in the district. And as we said earlier, this is a pivotal game, Scotty, because if they were to go to 0-2, their chances of getting that 3 seed and or become less than favorable, and you don't want to fall into that position of having to go to Douglas in the first round of the playoffs.
That's exactly right. And they're going to play them next week, and so they're going to see how they measure up. But anytime you can get a higher seed, that's what you want. You got to come in here. And, let's be honest. I kind of felt like, with all the emotion last week, that it's a natural thing to not be at the top of your game. But they're doing what they had. They're doing what good teams do. And you come in, you get a touchdown on your very first series after getting a 3 and out. You get a nice field goal right there at the end of the half to go, as you said, go up 2 scores. So I'm sure, Coach, we've talked about this before. Sometimes you got to win just because you're the better team. You're not always going to play at your best, and I think that's what their coach is probably telling them right now. Hey, let's finish the job here. Let's be professional. Let's get this done, and we'll heal up some more players. As you said, they've got several who are out tonight, and then we'll come back and we'll get ready for Douglas next week.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up the big play defensively. If you subtract that, I think you're probably looking at probably net 0 yardage there in the first half for Montgomery County. It was all 3 and outs, and then the half ended that last series. But Great Crossing defense, other than that one missed tackle, really has played tremendous as always, and the offense has been opportunistic. They've moved the chains on the ground. They've used that short passing game to their advantage. It feels like Montgomery County's probably taken away most of the deep stuff.
Yeah.
But they got the touchdown to Jacob Coulter.
And on the other side, if you're Montgomery County, I was a little surprised that, as we both talked about, their quarterback was doing a nice job hitting receivers. They were dropping it, but then it seemed like they kind of just went away with it.
They went away from the pass game. You're right, and I don't understand myself really. They've got the weapons, and they've certainly done it against other teams. But maybe, you don't want to test the waters too much against Great Crossing, as they saw a couple of times some near picks that probably scared them away a little bit.
Well, it did, but at some point you got to say, are we going to try to win the game or?
Yeah.
And so, if you remember the ball that when Hatton rolled out, heaved it to the 50. I thought that was a pretty good throw, and so that was another ball that could have possibly been caught if the receiver makes a play for him. And I know Hatton has got to be frustrated at this point, but I'll be interested to see what kind of adjustments they make at halftime. Do they come out and start throwing the ball on first down, as I mentioned? Because when they have run the ball, other than those 2 sweeps right before the half when Great Crossings was playing prevent defense, they haven't gotten anything.
I don't feel like they're going to have much choice, being down at least 17-6. And again, if Great Crossing can put together a drive to start the second half, they'll be in an even deeper hole.
Yeah.
I think that's going to kind of force their hand a little bit. If, as you said, they want to make an effort to win the game, they're going to have to throw at that point. But getting back to Great Crossing and Frederick Douglass next week, last year the regular season game was a COVID cancellation. They played in the first round of the playoffs, 62-21 Douglass, but I don't feel like the score was as reflective of Great Crossing. Played pretty well. They had to basically put everything on Caleb Perry's shoulders offensively. They had some injuries to their quarterback at the time and some of their other backs, and Caleb rushed for all the scores and had over 200 yards. But I feel like this is a more developed offense this year. Now, granted, they're playing against a defense that's loaded with D1 caliber talent that Scott County certainly struggled to move the ball on at all. But, it'll be interesting to see, as you said, that you know where you stand after that game. You know what's attainable, whether it's the second round of the playoffs or going forward for the future. And then after that, Great Crossing has another district game with Grant County, and then they will play Collins to wrap up the regular season. As here come the Scott County Middle 8th graders, 20-16 winners late last night over in Versailles to win that title.
The game will be played at Scott County Middle School on October the 23rd.
And the playoffs coming up in a couple of weeks for these middle school teams. That's always a exciting event for those guys. Gives them a taste of what's to come, as it's a fairly drawn-out tournament, much like the high school. How about the Scott County High School Cardinals, Scotty? They had basically another bye week with Grant County forfeiting that game. That's back-to-back forfeits. There really weren't a lot of COVID forfeits in the state. I believe there might have been one other one, but Scott County and Grant County for the long time, up until yesterday, was the only one listed. That gives them their first de facto 2-game winning streak of the year, puts them on the plus side at 4-3 for the first time, and now they play against this Montgomery County team. If they can continue their momentum there in what's their final home game of the regular season, then they go on the road to play a couple of tough ones. What's your thought on them down the stretch?
Well, as we talked about last week, and when I was talking to some opposing coaches, what impresses you about Scott County is that they're just solid or even better at every position. And I don't care who you're playing. If you don't have a weakness, then you're going to be dangerous when it comes playoff time.
Yep.
And you and I were here when we were doing the Great Crossing game when they were playing at Douglas. But, they went, from what I was told, now the score doesn't indicate it, but they went toe-to-toe with them for, 3 quarters to 3.5 quarters.
Yeah, it wasn't until the end of the third quarter. It was 12-0.
And had plenty of opportunities to score, and just didn't. But you're talking about a team that's played in a lot of big games. Those kids that played in big games, they're not going to be intimidated by anybody. So I think anytime you just play once a week, you hate missing out on playing. So I know they wanted to play this week, but having said that, coming off Douglas and then Great Crossings, if you were going to have a week off, that seems like that would have been the time. Now, I don't think they wanted it, but they can rest up, and I don't even think rest up is the term. Maybe just heal up, because in the middle of the season, you're starting to get, sore. But we'll see them here next week against Montgomery County, and I expect, and then, of course, that fun game against Lexington Catholic at the end of the year. That'll be exciting.
Catholics had a good season. They got pretty well trounced by LCA.
They sure did, yeah.
They've otherwise been solid. As we said, that's a rivalry that hasn't been played for a long time, but Lexington Catholic may be feeling like the gap is close enough to take it on again. So here we are. And that will be in the final game of the regular season on the 29th of October. Of course, Great Crossing will have Martha Lane Collins High School here. 2 borderline top 10 5A teams. They're kind of on that second wave of teams just outside that consensus top 10, as it were. So that should be an even matchup that night as well. And then first Friday night in November, we expect to be here, and if the football gods cooperate, it will be Battle of the Birds 2 for this year and 4 overall. And we'll see what happens. Feels a little more like football weather tonight, doesn't it? It's now kind of cooling off a little bit. We get that October nip in the air.
But it's supposed to warm back up tomorrow.
Big game tomorrow for the Cats against LSU, of course, at Kroger Field. Big game for the Georgetown College Tigers. They are top 10 in both the NAIA polls, depending on which one you look at, either number 8 or number 10. They're headed to Bethel, Tennessee. That's kind of a trap game. If you look at their schedule, they're 4-0. They've won their last couple against Bethel, but it's been a pretty close battle in recent years. If they get past that one, they would be 5-0 going up against number 1 and defending national champion Lindsey Wilson down in Columbia next Saturday. So that could say a lot about if they could get through these next 2 weeks. The the train to the NAIA championship game might go through Toyota Stadium.
That's exactly right.
You win both of those, and then you can maybe run the table. Who knows?
They are playing outstanding football. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's been 7-8 years now since they've been able to get one on Lindsay, but they're certainly due, and a little better offensively this year, and certainly as good a defense as they've had in a while. So the Tigers looking great. It's just about time for basketball preseason to start around here. We get to October 15th.
Extra point right after the first quarter, it got screwed up in this injury.
We've got stats here. We just told the extra point. One of the extra points wasn't included on here, so it is 17-6. Total offense favors Great Crossing by a fair amount, 201-79. We mentioned they didn't allow many yards other than that 64-yard touchdown. That answers it, 15 aside from that. Hatton is 2 for 9 through the air, so that might explain why they're a little reluctant to throw the ball right now. 8 for 11 is Nichols, Gabe Nichols for 88 yards. He's hit Jacob Coulter 3 for 48, including that touchdown pass. Stats are wrong on that. It says 77 yards, but it wasn't. Then you have Mason Wiley with a couple of catches, Isaiah Johnson with a big first down grab, Peyton Harris and Caleb Perry as well. That statistic can't be. They've got Gabe Nichols credited 4 rushes for 55 yards, but I don't know how that happened. Caden Allen, 6 for 28. Zach Morris, 6 for 20. Perry, 1 for 7. Cobbins, 2 for 3. The only 2 catches for Montgomery County, Devin Tall had an 8-yarder, and Tanner Donovan had a 64-yarder for a touchdown, broke a tackle, spun away, and was gone. Caden Allen started the scoring as Great Crossing scored on its first series of the night. They had great field position after a Montgomery County punt at the Indians 37. Took them 6 plays to score from there. Caden Allen punched it in from 3 yards out. That took up 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Jesse Fair kicked the extra point for the 7-0 lead. Montgomery County came right back with that Alex Hatton throw to Tanner Donovan, 64 yards. Kick was no good. They took a delay of game penalty and then hit the upright of the PAT, so that left it at 7-6. Gabe Nichols on that comebacker by Jacob Coulter. I believe it covered 22 yards. The Fair extra point made it 14-6. And then with 12 seconds remaining in the half, Jesse Fair split the uprights from 29 yards. And that's left us with the 17-6 score at the half as Great Crossing coming back onto the field out of the field house. They will take the second half kickoff, and what do you expect to see on the other side of that kick? We're going to see more of that aerial attack that is it's been nickel and dime over the middle pretty much.
It has. And, to go back to those stats, we've talked about it, but to be fair to Hatton, at least 3, if not 4 of those balls should have been caught.
Should have been caught, absolutely, right on fingers and numbers.
If you're Great Crossing, I wonder if they're, really outside of that first drive when they just ran it down their throat, they have not run the ball overly well since then. So I'd like to see them come out, establish the run game. And then, anytime you can put Nichols in a third manageable, you got to feel good about it.
Yeah, Gabe is just continues to take leaps and bounds in his command of the offense and his confidence in multiple receivers. They certainly spread it around. We haven't seen Zachary Kelly catch a ball tonight. He's been about the only one as he has worked it to Harris, Coulter, Wiley, Perry, et al.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hold your hot dogs, hold your pop, and hold your popcorn if you got it. And put your hands together and let's make it. Watch this, guys. Bunch of noise for y'all. Warhawks.
Great Crossing won this game a year ago, and it spurred them on to a 3-game win streak. Tonight, it's their attempt to get back on the winning track. To go 6-1, that would ensure them of a winning record in the regular season. First one in school history, and I think if you looked at their schedule and looked at their experience at the start of the season, we all thought that was attainable, but you got to go out and do it, and they have done it.
Yeah. I was just watching both teams warm up right now, and I always found it interesting that in football, no matter how much time you have for halftime, they always come out and put about 3 or 4 extra minutes on.
They put 20 up there. It's
Yeah.
true. They never. It's always.
If it's basketball, it's a technical foul if you're not ready.
Oh,
and
but they
football, it's like, we'll put another 3 or 4 on there.
I think the officials are the ones that, if anything else, sometimes they're late to the party too. They're like, whatever. It is true. Didn't really have any reason for an extended halftime tonight. There's no band, no dance teams. It's a pared down celebration here during fall break. Student section still showed up.
Yeah,
they were kind of split in. I suppose a few of them were at the soccer game earlier and probably have made their way here down Frankfort Pike. That was a 5-0 loss for the Warhawks, so they will go on the road against the champion of either the 42nd, 43rd, or 44th district. That will be no picnic.
No, it will not.
You're talking very likely Douglas, Henry Clay, Madison Central, and whoever comes out of the 43rd. I don't know if it's Catholic or it's not Lafayette. They lost. It's one of the toughest regions around, so that's you definitely wanted a home game if you could get one. The girls will have a home game. We mentioned their title, first one in school history. The old nemesis, Western Hills, that has been a rivalry. They've played 6 matches in 3 years. 4 of them have gone to overtime. 3 of them now have gone to penalty kicks. This one for the title, 2-1. Shelby Smith was the tournament MVP. She stopped 3 of Western Hills' 4 penalty kicks in overtime.
That's amazing.
That is hard to do. I talked to her. They played last year, and Great Crossing won. She said, my goal, and I always think it's attainable, is to go 5 for 5. I'm like, seriously? And she's just like, yeah. And that's what she expects to do. And to stop 3 out of 4 is close enough.
From that,
it's a gimme. I don't know. For those of you that don't know soccer, a penalty kick is a slam dunk for the most part. I mean, you've got to you can crank it left or right or hit it high if you put too much mustard on it. But the advantage is certainly with the shooter. And Great Crossing hit 3 out of their 4 to win it. Brooklyn Couch, the golden boot for the final one. And I think everybody kind of froze. They didn't realize the game was over at that point. But 4 was enough. Scott County girls lost today 6-1 to Henry Clay, so their season ends in the district semifinals. Haven't looked up Alex Bennett's score. He was representing Great Crossing at the golf championships in Bowling Green today. And volleyball season, regular season wraps up next week. Great Crossing, number 12 in the state, 4 matches in 4 nights. They won them all in straight sets this week. Scott County had a big district win over Sayre as well. So fall sports are cranking up here toward the postseason. Kick taken at the 20 on a hop. Big seam up the middle to the 40. Burst of speed. He's gone. Great Crossing's going to put one on the board. Jacob Coulter goes 80 yards to the house with the second half kickoff.
What a job by Coulter just to pick it up on the hop and just explode up the middle.
He saw the space. It parted like the Red Sea.
Yeah, no hesitation whatsoever. That was an outstanding job.
That's an 80-yard touchdown return for the Warhawks. Jacob Coulter.
Coulter's got some speed. He's a high jumper in track. We've seen him make some. He's kind of the unsold guy as far as those acrobatic catches go, because you see Kelly and Perry kind of get the highlight film stuff. But there was the highlight film for Jacob there on special teams. Perry holding for Fair's extra point, which is good, 24-6. It only took 12 seconds. 80 yards for Jacob Coulter.
Well, that must have been the halftime speech. Take the kick all the way back.
That's it. That's what we'll do with our second half kickoff. And now if you're Montgomery County, you've got to start throwing on first, second, and third down, I think. Jacob Coulter putting himself certainly in the conversation for the Greens Toyota of Lexington Player of the Game Award tonight. I want to thank them for their title sponsorship of this one. Great people, great cars, think Greens. Thank you for joining us at newsgraphic.com or on the NFHS network. As we said, we'll be off next week. No, not next week. Sorry, 2 weeks from now. Next week, we'll have Scott County hosting Montgomery County in a district matchup. That's the final home game of the regular season for the Cardinals. Scott County will go to Ballard 2 weeks from tonight.
Always a team with
That'll
some
be
talent
a
right
good game. And Ballard, I believe they're playing another one of the heavyweights tonight. Their schedule's not easy ever.
We'll see this 2 kicker again, Cal. That's in. I think they're setting that up for a play.
They're going to use it at some point when it is much more important than now. They kick it deep.
You see that formation sometimes on an onside kick where one guy can fake, but in high school, you're not allowed to go past that line. So it's just kind of like who's kicking it, and I guess they're trying to keep them guessing. But they've kicked it away every time. But we'll see. That's going to come into play down there.
Mason Wiley and Zach Morris smothered the return man on the kick, so it'll be 1st and 10 for Montgomery County at the 25. Hatton under center. He will throw. He will throw it over the middle, and it's off the fingers of Devin Tall.
Well, and that's what we've been calling for, is to play action and throw on first down. He had him.
I mean, I'm not a Montgomery County fan or coach, but I'd be going nuts if I were one right now, because they've had every opportunity to make some hay in this game. It seems like, at least in that passing game over the middle, it just hasn't come to fruition.
And just as we said, you got to feel for Hatton because he's making plays.
He's done what he needs to do, putting the ball on the target. And they will abandon it and go to the run, and it's not going to get much, if anything. Maybe a yard for Jones.
I think you just have to sell out to the pass at this point.
And what choice do you have? You're down 18, so 3 scores now. Trey Combs made that tackle. Probably had some help, as Great Crossing often does. Both our county teams pretty adept at the gang tackling.
Yeah. And you see Perry lining up at that outside. Look for him to be bringing pressure.
He is looking around the corner, and they're going to call a timeout, as Montgomery County didn't like what it saw, I don't think. .10:52 remaining third quarter. They trail Great Crossing 24-6. As Crossing takes the second half kickoff, 80 yards. Jacob Coulter with his second touchdown of the night.
Who kicked the first? Who kicked the first field goal in Great Crossing football history?
Cal, you got to know that.
First field goal in Great. They're asking trivia questions here. Is it going to be? Is it Austin Welch? Did they kick one 2 years ago? Or was it last year? I'm going to say Austin Welch. He's now at EKU as a preferred walk-on.
There you go.
I got it. He is he was a double letterman in soccer and football, of course, as a senior. Brother Preston on the team. That was a dangerous pass as Jarve Ray had a chance to go the other way for 6. It falls incomplete, however. The clock didn't even move. And it's 4th down. This one's getting out of the grasp, no pun intended, for Montgomery County, as they've had it on their fingers for a good portion of the night, but nothing has gone their way.
Well, they were trying to relive that play that they scored on there where the receiver a little short of the first down but could spin out and make a play, and Great Crossing was all over it.
A little wiser this time are the Warhawks. They'll come after the punt, won't get there, but it's a short one. Takes a good bounce. Bird takes it on a hop. He won't get very far as he's steamrolled at the 45, make it the 46. That's where Great Crossing's offense will go to work for the first time this half. They've already put points on the board thanks to special teams. Warhawks up 24-6.
And that's, again, another outstanding play by Bird. It may not seem like much, but those coaches know if he just lets that ball roll, it's first down from the 25.
Exactly.
You know, and instead he picks it up. He only got maybe 1 or 2 yards, but
and they have trust in him as a coaching staff. There's some coaches that'll say poison, get away from that. But here, you trust Bird to help you out. Isaiah Johnson with a good hard run. He gets hit a little late, but I don't think the whistle was early enough, so no call there. He'll gain 2.
Montgomery County still flying to the football, playing hard.
You got to give them that. The Indians have not given up here. They just haven't been able to sustain anything offensively other than the one big play tonight. Their defense has not been their defense. They put up 90 points total in the last 2 wins over Grant County and Lloyd Memorial. Here's a pitch to Johnson. Gets some room on the edge across midfield and across the 45. Will be another first down for the Warhawks. First half first downs were 10-2, so make it 11-2.
That's just a simple pitch from out of the gun. You know, normally you'd see that underhanded, but he just kind of shoved it almost like a 2-hand chest pass right there because he's out of the shotgun. But a lot of space out here on the end.
A little swing pass to Johnson this time. He loses his footing right about at the line of scrimmage. It was a dangerous pass, too, because it was a little bit backward, I think.
Yeah. That's an outstanding play right there by Brody Shaw. Comes up, makes the play.
Number 9, Brody Shaw. Number 8, Alex Tyson.
Indians have not given up big plays. They have forced the Warhawks to drive the length of the field. Great Crossing has taken what the defense gives them. Nichols throwing right flat and dropped. Kelly's had a tough night. He's had the ball in his hands or close to it a couple of times.
I tell you, I've got to wonder how wet that turf is.
It must be. I mean, we had some heavy rain. The stairs were just, I was walking slowly, not wanting to fall upward.
Because both teams are really just not holding on to the football when it comes to the passing game.
I was not here when it rained, but I could tell that it had. Third down and 10 from the 43 of Montgomery County. Nichols to throw again. They'll try the same play to Kelly. You got to love that as a coach. Yep. You go right back to the Absolutely. Kid. And he gets close to the first down. Kelly gains 9. It'll be 4th and maybe a long yard. They'll probably more like 2. They'll mark it at the 35. But the exact same call. And Kelly made the catch, his first of the night.
That was a good open field tackle by Corey Barr. If he doesn't make that, he's going to the house.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part for Montgomery County about that play is that Kelly gets speed to burn. 4th and 2. Hand off to K now, and he'll just get stuffed. Just didn't really get good footing, and Montgomery County will get the turnover on downs at the 35.
That was a play that had to happen if you want to stay in the game from Montgomery County. But give them credit. They come up and made a good stick right there. I couldn't quite tell who it was.
No, I couldn't either. I just saw Allen get kind of a helmet-to-helmet shot and go down.
Fumble.
Oh, ball's on the ground, still on the ground. Looks like Great Crossing has it. Coming up with it, Orion Fisher. We said he wasn't in the game earlier. He is now. Orion Fisher. So a big play after the stop by Montgomery County. They gave it right back.
Yeah, basically where it was fourth down. So
From the Montgomery County 37-yard line.
So, with 8.5 sacks this year. Gets the takeaway. And Nichols will go deep. Kelly down there. Just can't come up with it. Good effort, but he had good coverage.
got a flag. Yeah.
And way back at the line of scrimmage. And it will be marched off 10 yards against the Warhawks.
It's going to be a holding call, 10-yard penalty assessed from the point of infraction.
So holding marks it back to the other side of midfield at the 49. Nichols to throw on first and long. Middle screen to Johnson. That's not going to get far. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen that screen, but that was well read by Montgomery County right there. Again, it was Brody Shaw. Looked like to me.
Number 36.
They're calling Potts, but
They've got some unidentified stars on this Moco defense, as we mentioned in the first half. So, second and forever. Nichols will go deep again into double coverage, almost picked, slapping the turf is Corey Barber, who almost had it.
should have. It was right.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah.
It would have been as good as a punt. On second and long, now it'll be third and long.
But again, we go back to just so many players having trouble hanging on to that football tonight.
Ball's on their own 49-yard line.
We'll see here if Montgomery County will drop 8 or if they're going to bring a blitz.
Third and 24 from their own 49. Nichols fakes it, throws the slant to Perry. Perry gets good yardage, not nearly enough for the first down, but it makes it a manageable fourth and double sticks from the 39. Call it 12.
That's a good tackle by Potts right there.
Yeah, because it's certainly a mismatch when you get Perry coming trucking over the middle like that.
Greg Carlson's going to go for it.
Why not? You're on the Montgomery 39. Everything going your way right now. Your defense is not in any danger, it would appear.
Not a lot of time on that play clock, though.
8-7-6. Nichols will get it snapped. They're coming up the middle with pressure again. He's got to avoid the sack. That's the worst case scenario, as Montgomery County will start in Great Crossing territory now. And another bad situation is that Nichols is slow getting up. And finally, he is to his feet and seems okay, more just irritated.
Yeah, and I tell you, I'm sure that his coach is going to bring him over and say, when you're being swarmed like that, hang on to that football, because he was hanging on to it like a loaf of bread.
Yeah, you don't want to scoop 6 or anything.
Yeah, that would have been the worst case scenario, and that's what they're telling him right now. At least give our defense a chance to play here. You don't want to give them an easy touchdown.
And now Montgomery County can maybe attack in the passing game and get back into this thing. Hatton will go deep. He's got a man, but it was well played, but what a catch. And an easy walk-in touchdown for Montgomery County's Tanner Donathan, his second bomb of the night. Bird is down, but I think it's more his pride got hurt than anything there, as he thought maybe he was going to have an interception. And instead, it's Tanner Donathan with the TD.
Well, we've been calling for it all night, and that's that first down pass. And although Bird still had terrific coverage on that, but just a good play. That's the first time we've talked about that's where a receiver made a play for Hatton. And, good things happen.
And now they'll probably go for two here, to get back on course. Get it within 10 if you can. Still 6:41 to play in the third quarter. A long way to go. Hatton throws it, broken up, fittingly by Bird. His back is bothering him, I think, the way he fell awkwardly on that last play.
But that's a big stop for the Warhawks right there.
Yeah, keeps it at a 12-point game. 2 dozen to 1 dozen here, 24-12. Tanner Donathan, with his second long touchdown reception of the night, gets the Indians back into it.
Yeah, he's made a couple of very nice plays.
Alex Hatton, he's only completed 3 or 4 passes all night, but 2 of them have been for 6.
I wonder what Montgomery County, if you'll remember early in that first half, they did that little pop kick.
Yep, we'll see. That turned into a turnover.
Here, And they're talking to, you see some of the players around the kicker like, make sure you do this right. Sometimes that can be harder said than done.
Yeah, no kidding. You don't want to get burned by the same play twice if you're Greg Crossing. Last time they just popped it up in the air, and as soon as the return man got his hands on it, he got whaled. A little harder and lower this time, and it was easier to take it on the run and plow forward. Like Jarius Patterson.
And that's a good play. That's a good heads-up play. Don't, he got you the first time. That time they were ready. Patterson made a nice play of watching it into his body and then getting, 3 or 4 yards. But now automatically Great Crossing's on the other side of the field.
Yeah, they kind of pick up where they left off before that sack and then the long touchdown pass. We'll see what they can do with it. Handoff to Morris. Morris pushes the pile, still moving. They still haven't whistled it dead. Rugby scrum to the 40. He'll gain 6 out of the deal.
Gain of 6 on the play.
And this is where the big boys up front need to take over.
That's kind of reminiscent of Caden Allen there, but it was Zach Morris, the sophomore, getting it done. And now Allen will check in. We'll see if they stay with the ground game. They've got some options here on 2nd and 4. Allen, the lone man in the backfield. He will take it, but he will get stopped for a loss. That's happened a couple of times lately.
Just terrific penetration by Montgomery County. They shoot gaps really well. I mean, you can see them. They're not overly big, but they're just so active.
I believe it was Corbin Haas on that tackle. He just came in unabated and took Allen down for a loss of a yard. So it'll be 3rd and 5.
Montgomery County brings in an extra defensive back right here. But I tell you, I would be a bit surprised to see them run the football.
Nichols will instead fake it to Allen and leave his man hung out to dry. Kelly went up for it and landed hard, incomplete. Been an interesting night for Zachary Kelly, and now he's down on the turf. 4th and 5, and I think they're going to play the field position game and have Perry punt it away after the injury timeout. Or they might talk about it.
Pointing towards his, like maybe his thigh, but
hoping he just got the wind knocked out of him, or It's been another physical battle tonight. 2 in a row here for the Warhawks.
He's going to be on like you. I think he got the win.
Yeah, he landed hard, just like Drake Bird did moments ago, and I think it was a similar situation. And now we'll see what the Warhawks do after they've had a few seconds to think about it. Looks like Perry's headed back in punt formation, but no. Yeah. So they will try to angle it, barring the fake, which the Montgomery County sideline seems well versed in their ability to do. I heard watch the ball all the way on this side of the field. Perry will kick it. He'll angle it toward the Montgomery County sideline. Not really, though. It's fair caught at the 14. So good hang time. Let his guys get down there and kind of tie the hands of the Indians return man. 5:02 to play in the third quarter. Montgomery County, it's got it back to a 2-score game, and they have the ball deep in their own territory, however.
I tell you, Caleb Perry, if he had looked up, he had a huge.
Yeah, he might have could have faked it.
Yeah. But that's one of those, especially in high school, your coach is saying, kick it.
Yes.
That's what
exactly.
I'm going to do.
Yeah, you got no choice in the matter.
Yeah.
Hatton. Frazier is there, and he's wrapped up, sacked inside the 5.
And they had a guy
Fisher as well.
No time whatsoever. Got beat on the left side.
Initial contact is made by number 2, Will Frazier. Also in on the tackle, number 49, Warren Strode. The number 27, Orion Fisher.
Now you're backed up.
Yeah, you got to be careful here. You can't take a holding penalty in the end zone or anything like that.
It's going to be a loss of 10 on the play. It's going to make it a 2nd and 20.
Hatton, he's in some serious danger as a jailbreak up the middle. Allen with all kinds of pressure, and it's lucky for Hatton that it wasn't picked off. Perry, I think he was surprised the ball got there.
And I tell you, they could have called that intentional grounding because there really wasn't a receiver in the area. Even though it was in the middle of the field, there still wasn't a receiver anywhere close, and he was running for his life. So, my guess is here they're just going to run the ball and then kick it.
They're going to just make a little inside handoff and try to get back what they can, get some room for their punter, so you're right.
Because you're not out of the game. I mean, it's not panic time. You're only down 12 points. Your defense is playing much better. Greg Crossing really hadn't been able to run the ball very well this half.
It's going to bring up a 4th down 11 for the Indians.
You take away the kickoff return
For the Warhawks, number 18,
at the beginning of the half, and Montgomery County's defense has really come ready to play.
Yeah, that really put them in a bad spot, but it also created the sense of desperation that might have helped them out a little bit. But now they're losing the field position game. Coulter takes the punt at his 50. So Bird not back there, at least now. Coulter's had a kick return touchdown, as you just mentioned, and he returns it back into Montgomery County territory. So with 3:15 to play in the third quarter, Warhawks nursing a 24-12 lead. Their touchdowns came early in the game since on offense. Since then, they had a field goal at the end of the half, and then that kick return.
It's going to bring up a 1st and 10 for the Warhawks. Ball's on the Montgomery County 37-yard line.
Nichols fakes to Cobbins, throws it this way to Coulter, jukes, makes a man miss. He's got that seam. He's going to go to that. It's going to be called back. Flag comes in. It would have been a 47-yard touchdown for a Coulter hat trick, but hold everything.
Well, I was waiting for the flag, but never saw it. So it made me wonder or are they just calling him out of bounds?
Usually you throw your hat or something.
I think they're just calling him out of bounds. but there was a clear
No,
block in the back.
illegal use.
Yeah.
So the catch and run for a touchdown goes for naught.
But still getting 10-yard gain out of it.
Yeah, it's from the spot, so he gets the progress prior to the penalty. Just a little throw to the sideline. Coulter again comes back and gets it at the 35.
But I tell you, the way Montgomery County's defensive line is playing, I really like that pass. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, get rid of it. And that's what they have to do. Just a 3-step drop.
Montgomery County's been strong against the run, and they have been able to penetrate up the middle and make Nichols scramble to his right and left frequently. He's got room up the middle this time, directing traffic on the scramble. He misses, makes a tackler miss, gets to the 20 before he steps out of bounds. It's a great crossing first down. Gabe Nichols alertly gains 13 there. That time it just parted for him. He saw the middle open wide, and he's able to put it in the red zone. Brody Shaw making another stop for the Indians, but not before the sticks move. Now Nichols will scramble again. Now he just shy of the line of scrimmage, floats a little pass to Peyton Harris, and it is complete.
Wow.
He stopped just shy of the 20, so it was a legal pass, and they gained 6 out of it.
It was just so nonchalant.
I know. It's a heads-up play. It was something you'd see at a higher level. Very creative and crafty on the part of the junior, who's having himself another good night with his arm and with his feet. Tyrus Cobbins up the middle, spins short of the first down, but he'll get to the 12. That'll make it 3rd and 2.
Excellent play there by Darian Owens.
Gain of maybe 2 on the play.
4 down territory, I think. I guess you've kicked 1 field goal. You could kick another, but that would still make it a 15-point margin. Had a little tough time handling the snap, but then Zach Morris spurts up the middle for a 13-yard touchdown, and that is going to make it a real uphill climb for Montgomery County.
And that's a great call right there. Montgomery County comes with a safety blitz on the left side. Hand it off there to the left, right off the left tackle, and he just hits that hole and gets through.
$30-12 pending the extra point. It is good. So with 1:05 remaining in the third quarter, it's Great Crossing 31, Montgomery County 12. That was started by the defense. Defense got him great field position and special teams too. The Caleb Perry punt, then the sack, then the stop, and then just methodically moving it down the field to put it in position for Zach Morris. 13-yard run, pretty much untouched. As once again, the middle just opened up. $31-12, your score. Great Crossing on top, headed for 6-1 if this holds, and headed for Frederick Douglass next week. I don't think Frederick Douglass has ever come here to play Great Crossing yet. Every game just has ended up over there. Playoffs both years and regular season 2 years ago.
Last year was a COVID.
COVID. It would have been here, and it was a COVID cancellation. Of course, Scott County, as we mentioned, the COVID cancellation gave them a forfeit win this week over Grant County. We'll see them against the same Montgomery County team next Friday night. Short kick, taken at the 35, returned just shy of the 40, and spun down there, making the play, Malachi Young, for Great Crossing. Under a minute to play, third quarter.
Return number 2, Harrison Haddix. Return of 4 yards on the play.
And if you're Great Crossings here, you're just saying, let's keep the ball in front, nothing behind us.
Yeah.
We'll let the defensive line get to the quarterback, but as a defensive back, I want to make sure that I'm keeping the ball in front of me and making tackles.
Hand off to Jones. Absolutely nothing there. Trey Combs smelled that one along with Joshua Strayer, excuse me.
Number 47, Joshua Strayer.
Be 2nd and 11 as that one went backward. Coming up on what will probably be the final play of the third quarter, barring an incomplete pass. We've seen a few of those from Montgomery County tonight. Hatton will throw. It is almost picked. Caden Allen signals incomplete, which it is. And that'll leave him with 14.4 seconds, 3rd and 11.
That was terrific double coverage that time.
Yeah, there was just nowhere. He would have had to thread the needle seriously, and it's not going to happen. Great job. I mean, they've been burned twice, but the pass defense has been pretty solid tonight on every other level.
Well, and even if you look at the two scores, one
they were well defended.
Battle, yeah, and the other one was just a missed tackle.
Yeah. Correctable stuff. Hatton to throw deep. He's got his man down there, but he just put a little bit too much on it.
We talked about keeping it in front. He got a step behind there.
Tanner Donathan looking for the hat trick. Coulter had it covered pretty well.
Yeah, Hatton's kicking himself right there. He knows he missed one.
And now it's 4th and long.
They're going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you lose 31-12 or 45-12. You might as well go down kicking. Or not kicking, as the case may be here.
That's exactly right.
Hatton in the shotgun, and now timeout. So might as well use him. You can't take him back to Mount Sterling.
Well, I think that play clock was about to go out on him. So
8.3 seconds to go in the third quarter.
I wonder how Great Crossings will play this, whether or not they drop. They've been doing a really good job of just letting the front four get the pressure. And
yeah, play your base defense,
Yeah.
I think. You just can't get beat over the top.
they are putting Fisher in on this particular play. He's not seeing a lot of action.
No, he's been situational tonight.
Yep.
I think he probably, I don't know if it was a knee or an ankle, but got a little banged up against Scott County. Didn't play much, if at all, in the second half, but we've seen him sporadically tonight. Hatton going to get sacked. Caden Allen is going to get some help coming in, but that's going to do it for that series and probably for Montgomery County's chances tonight. Not that they were any more than flickering down 19 late in the third quarter.
So 6 on the play. It's going to be a turnover on down. And at the end of the third quarter,
And I've noticed Caleb Perry hasn't. I mean, he's played some, but you can see that they're
resting a little
They
bit.
are,
They
yeah.
know there's some bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Coming up down the road. I mean, this was a key game, obviously, but once you get a certain comfort level on the scoreboard, there's no reason to go hog wild. Great crossing. Short field again. They'll take over at the Montgomery County 33. 12 minutes to play. They're up 19.
Mr. Parker, Jason Taylor, Jason Gray, Colonel Gray, Eric Taylor, and Thomas Taylor. Good job over our guys.
Gabe Nichols directing the offense. He's been accurate again tonight. He's kind of taking what this defense is given, as we mentioned, hitting the short stuff.
Officials needed to switch up. They were on the wrong side there.
All right. Now we'll get everybody situated. Maybe. Talk about our post-game dinner plans. And now, got another official coming in from the Montgomery County sideline.
Yeah, they're just a little confused, but the players had it right. It was the officials that were messed up there, switching it up after the quarter.
Forgot it went the other way. Hand off to Morris. He's got room again. First down, Moore. Bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers to the 11. 22 yards for Zachary and a first down.
And he's disappointed he didn't take that to
He
the
wanted
house,
he wanted his second touchdown in as many
Yeah.
carries.
That was a good run, good hard run.
And as you've said many times tonight, the offensive line getting it done up front. Pass protection and creating some lanes for these running backs from time to time, just enough to keep it honest. Again, Morris, little counter to the right. Now he'll skip left, up the middle, leans toward the goal line. He'll be stopped a half yard short. But they'll have 4 plays to get a foot.
I'd like to see him feed him again. He's done so well on this drive.
Yeah, he's earned it here. 2 carries have taken it from the 33 to inside the 1. Montgomery County defense seems gassed at this point.
Yeah.
They have been beleaguered, as we've said. The team came in with a 4-2 record, but some high-scoring games. And here's another one on the defensive side for them. It is going to be Morris. He's going to be stacked up, hit hard at the point of attack. So if he's going to punch you in, he'll have to do it on the next carry.
That was a great play right there.
Yeah, Brody Shaw, his name's the one we've called for them tonight. He's got to have double-digit tackles.
That's just a good job by the linebacker coming up and filling the hole.
2nd and goal from the 1. You'll try Morris again. Leans forward. This time a little more promising. He gets it over. Touchdown Warhawks. Morris's second score of the second half. And that will put it away. Not that it wasn't already. (37-12), pending the extra point with 10:14 to play. Snap, mishandled, and he kicks it into the ground. So the kick is no good. 37-12 is where it stays. So Zach Morris did all the heavy lifting on that drive. Gains of 22 yards and 10 yards set up the 1-yard plunge. Great Crossing up 37-12 with 10:14 to play. They will be 6-1 at night's end. And of their 3 remaining regular season games, 1 will be super challenging. 1 is probably a toss-up. And 1 they should handle if it gets played. So this is a program that's headed in a good direction and trying to get its second shot at Scott County. This game will go a long way toward ensuring that. And once again, we see you're right. This formation is one we're going to see again. I don't know if I'd be rolling it out quite so much if I was planning to use it again down the road in a different situation. Fair will kick it sort of kind of deep. Fumble. They crossed the 30 and then coughed it up. It will stay with the Indians as they alertly fell on it with 10:06 to play.
Now, we've been talking about throwing the ball on first down, but I think at this point, you want Hatton to survive.
Yeah,
so I think you're going to start mixing in some runs and letting this clock run a little bit.
Great Crossing has left Orion Fisher in the game, so certainly they are anticipating some pass rush opportunities.
What's the size for Hatton, Cal? He's a pretty big kid.
Yeah, I don't have a height and weight roster, but I've got to think he's sturdy. He's got to be 200 pounds at least. Probably 6'1", 6'2", in that neighborhood.
But that's kind of what I expected right there. I know there's a lot of time to play, but
yeah,
you're down 4 scores, and he's been running for his life the last couple of series. I just think
at some point you wave the flag and say, well, it's been real.
It'd be a little strange for Montgomery County to come back to the exact same field.
They happened 2 years ago as well. It's a strange, odd, curious situation.
You would have thought when they set that up that they would have flipped it.
It's like back in the day playing a divisional game against the New York Giants and then playing an interconference game against the New York Jets the next week in the same stadium. We have reason to believe 2023 or 4, that situation will be no longer. There's a throw to a wide open Devin Tall. He keeps his hands on this one for a first down.
And that was a dart.
Yes, it was.
I don't think he had a choice not to
catch
that one.
Cannon. Good for a first down at the 44 of the Warhawks with 8:36 to play. Thanks for joining us here at newsgraphic.com. We'll have the story later on tonight or first thing in the morning, depending on what your bedtime is. Glad you could join us. We'll be presenting our Greens Toyota of Lexington player of the game on the field after this one. Jones scoots forward for a couple. Seeing some new shirts in the game. I don't even know who 61 is. That's a uniform I've not seen, and it's not on the roster. Strayer was in on the hit as well. And Combs. Ball's at the 43 of Great Crossing, 2nd and 8. Hatton will throw. Didn't have much time, and he got picked. Coming the other way is Caden Allen. He's had a couple in his hands. He's saying he wasn't down. The referees agree. He's tiptoeing the sideline. Big man, touchdown, Caden Allen, 65 yards.
He got spun, but he was able to keep that body on top of somebody else. Oh, we got an injury.
Number 23, Caden
Now who's down? Was that a post-celebration injury? Hopefully it's just a cramp. Looks like a cramp.
Yeah, they're working on that.
Injured player on the field is number 18, Jacob Coulter.
Yeah, Coulter with, I think, a cramp. He gets up and jogs off gingerly. He's had a good night. Caden Allen has made his night better. Did a great job keeping his knee from hitting the turf there, did Allen, and then he had a run down the sideline.
That was a heads-up play by him. So many people thought he was down, but to keep rolling, the officials was right on top of it.
Fair splits the uprights for a 44-12 lead.
Cal, while we're sitting here, I had to step out, of course, last week at halftime while you were doing your interview, but I had a chance to read that. Tell us a little bit about that. That was
quite a moment. I'm glad I got to meet Mr. Alvin Edwards. You can go see that interview if you don't want to go back and watch or listen to the entire game. We posted just the interview on our YouTube platform this week. Go to the Georgetown News graphic page on YouTube. Just to hear his story, and it's funny, I had seen the videos that he did some stuff the day after with some of the TV stations. He still seemed a little shell-shocked at the time. He kind of didn't know what to say, and understandably so, but I think he'd had time to really focus on it, and of course still play it over in his mind over and over again as you would, and just a very colorful description of the events of that night and what it took to get the kids off the bus, get the bus driver off the bus, kind of use some of his expertise as a truck driver to tell the bus driver, hey, you can let your foot off the brake. It'll stall and stop eventually. But the fire was going to consume the bus, and he knew it. And he got the whirlwind tour last week. He went to Scott County Youth Football on Saturday morning, went to Georgetown College on Saturday afternoon, and got the same hero's welcome. And hope his family enjoyed our fair city. They got their lodging and meals and tickets all provided and went home with parting gifts, that autographed jersey, the key to the city, the Kentucky Colonel proclamation. Just good stuff for a good man who was in the right place at the right time, and we're grateful, to say the least.
in the right place at the right time, but that doesn't mean everybody always steps up.
No, you know what? I have a background. My degree was in psychology, and I took a psychology class once where it talked about all the experiments with when people see something happening. Do they intervene or not?
Right.
Do they worry about liability, and do they just walk away or drive by? And he stopped. That's a juggling attempt at a catch, getting back to the game that is incomplete, as he had several chances to make the grab there from Montgomery County. Did Jacob Diallo, who we have not seen run the ball more than once or twice on. That's puzzling. I guess, I don't know if they just thought it didn't play well against this defense or what, but his numbers are off the charts. He's averaged over 100 yards a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he's just playing a completely different position. And
yeah, he's kind of been a wing back or a slot receiver most of the night.
But as we said, as you said, he's let him in rushing, let him in touchdowns scored. I mean,
you never know what the injury situation is, the health situation in this day and age. There's a deep ball that's almost caught by Tall, but it goes through his hands. It was double coverage. He had a step on him, maybe a half step.
I'll tell you what, though, has an arm. I wonder if he's a baseball pitcher.
You think maybe, especially with his size.
Yeah.
He could be a multi-sport guy.
So we're making a 3rd and 10 for the Indians from their own 32-yard line.
3rd and 10. The clock's not moving a lot with these incomplete passes. Of course, one more score by Great Crossing would take it to a running clock. Maybe that's our best hope. As this one is over, it's all but the cosmetics of the final score. Hatton going to get sacked again. Looked like Strayer came in and got him.
When you can pin your ears back and you know what's coming, boy, it makes it easier on that defensive line to get there. And it puts a lot of stress on the offensive line. They know there's no opportunity for a run there. They're going to go for it, Aaron.
They might as well. I mean, I guess at this point, at their own 24, 4th and 18. And now we've got a timeout.
Take their final timeout and talk about it a
Hey,
little bit.
use that with 6:08 to play.
Timeout, Montgomery County.
I believe the Great Crossing record for points in a game was 50. It was tied in the Western Hills game. So one more touchdown could put them over that. And if they're going for it on 4th down from their own 24, that is in play.
So guys, please, let's do what we supposed to do. Give her that phone call, mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin. Tell her, hey, Great Crossing.
Final score of this game is going to end up playing out a lot like last year. It felt like a closer game than that for the longest time. But the floodgates opened late in the 3rd quarter. Zach Morris with a couple of touchdown runs, and then the big play on defense from Caden Allen have stretched the margin. Hatton doesn't even throw it deep. It's going to be incomplete. Great Crossing is going to take over there. Coulter on the coverage of Donathan. Yeah, that one makes me scratch my head, but maybe that's just the concession at this point. It's just like, okay. If you get that little spin and go, great. If you don't, it falls incomplete. Well, you're about to give up the touchdown that's going to send it to a running clock. I don't know. Nichols will lead the offense one more time. It's been an efficient half. There's been a special teams touchdown, a defensive touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns. The Warhawks have done it in all phases this evening. Nichols to throw. He's got Wiley. Wiley makes a man miss, and he is gone 24 yards, and there's the running clock, mercifully.
That
Almost
play call surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I guess.
I mean, it wasn't like they were throwing.
No, it was a little dump. It was a little dump off. I mean, I do see, especially when the running clock is in play, I do see the value in wanting to get it done and get out of here. That allows you to really just put in some younger players and be done with it. Not that you couldn't have already, I guess. Fair with the kick. It's good. 51-12. I believe that is the school scoring record. 24-yard pass. Gabe Nichols to Mason Wiley. And this one is over. Officially. 5:54 of real time.
Playing a little Grove Street party here.
Waka Flocka in the house.
Made that. He visited Kroger.
He
Field
was
last
there.
night.
It was a party in Lexington. We're hoping we have another one tomorrow night.
Oh, game scares me.
Yeah, that is. It's hard to think of LSU as a trap game because LSU is LSU, but Kentucky's the favorite. I don't think if they had lost to Florida, they would be the favorite. I think LSU, based on the respect that they get, is a fairly recent national titleist. And, of course, they've had some ups and downs. They get past that game, and it's really on to Georgia.
Between the hedges, that'll be
the battle for potentially as the kickoff is juggled and fallen on at the 30. Basically a division title and a trip to the SEC title. Of course, there's some tough games. You still got to beat Tennessee. You still got to win in Starkville,
which is never easy. I tell you, the way Tennessee putting up 62 on Missouri.
Yeah, that's frightening.
Things are starting to click for
Josh
Heupel.
Josh Heupel is known as an offensive quarterback guru, obviously. So
I heard a Tennessee fan today call up on Paul Feinbaum, and he was complaining why they weren't playing Harrison Bailey. Paul Feinbaum basically hung up on him and said they just scored 62 points.
Gee
I
whiz.
think that's gives you your
speaks
answer.
for itself.
Yeah.
There's another sack. I think I might get Strayer's second consecutive sack. I might be inclined, if I'm the coach, to get Hatton out of there.
Well, you got to live, for another.
Yeah,
day.
you got games left.
And now he's hurt. That's not what you want for next week when you come back to play Scott County with your backup quarterback.
No, they've been in that situation before.
But you can see that he is
gingerly getting back to the huddle, and there's Diallo. Now that the game's well out of hand, I don't get it. But again, could be some reasons. There's always reasons in-house sometimes that we don't always know about. 3rd and a while, 16.
Well, if he wasn't playing, we could speculate that. But he's been out there on
He's
the
been
field,
in the game the entire night.
Yeah.
So you get a good point there. There's no reason to punish a kid by not running the ball. He's done it that successfully. Under duress again is Hatton. He will scramble. He's fixing to get hit one more time. Swarmed at the original line of scrimmage.
Young man's a tough character, though, I'll tell you.
You got to tip your hat.
He's battled all night long. And
we've seen this from some of these teams that have been overmatched against Great Crossing. They've had individual kids who have
that's right.
earned their keep,
right.
even Western Hills.
Yeah. But he will have quite a few ice packs on tonight.
Caden Allen will too, but he's had himself a productive night as he jogs to the sideline. That interception return for a score. He's done a little bit of work on the offensive side of the ball as well. Jacob Coulter, we're going to anoint him as our Greens Toyota player of the game. That is another incomplete pass and another turnover on downs. And got to think they will just run it a few times and get us out of here.
I would think they would just knee it at this point.
Coulter had the 22-yard touchdown catch and then an 80-yard kick return. He had another touchdown called back after a block in the back. Clock is running inside of 2.5 minutes. 51-12. At the Montgomery County 31. Isaiah Johnson pushes forward to the 25. Great Crossing finishing this game on a 27-0 run.
I think they'll just take a knee here and go victory position.
One would think. Wouldn't be any reason to score, and especially in a district game. The circle of life comes back around to you.
Right.
You don't want to rub it in. Unless you don't ask your kid to take a knee at the 1-yard line if they're going to let him score, but other than that. Yep. Nichols will, in fact, back up and take a knee. That couple more snaps will do it. 51-12 will be your final. Great Crossing will authoritatively take down Montgomery County and put its grip back on that number 3 spot in the district. They've got a chance to shock the world next Friday night at Douglas and really make a mess of the playoff picture. But if they don't get that game, all they would need to do is beat Grant County to solidify spot number 2. Scott County will host this Montgomery County team next week. You can hear it at newsgraphic.com or watch it at NFHS Network. That's a bad snap, picked up, broken play. Isaiah Johnson will get stopped at the 31. Depending on where the play clock starts, that's probably going to do it. They don't have to run another play. Or, yeah, they do. It's 1 second off. And it's 4th down, so they can just take the snap and back up. Either way, the clock's running. I don't think Montgomery County is going to run another play. I think we are safe to say. And I think the referees are just going to overlook it. We'll do the quick getaway. The final score, the Great Crossing Warhawks 51, the Montgomery County Indians 12. Good to see you again, Scotty. We'll be back here with these same Indians next Friday night and see how the Scott County Cardinals fare as they try to keep their winning streak going. On behalf of Scotty Sutton, on behalf of Brett Smith in the booth, on behalf of James Scoggin, Mike Scoggin, DT Wells, and the whole gang, I'm Cal Oakes saying good night, God bless. Next week, Friday night, 7:30, the kickoff. Until then, enjoy your weekend. See you next time.
And the Warhawks